What's really creating our reality? Let's talk about that today on Awakening with Amy. Hi, welcome. I'm Amy Valentine, certified life coach, hoping to awaken within you a mindset that you can be, do, and have any desire. And in order to have anything, in order to live it, to create it, what do we need to know? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about Neville Goddard and his teachings. They're so powerful. What he says about reality creation. So, Neville says, believe firmly that your imagination is God. That supreme power of the universe is one with your human imagination. So as you come to the word God, he says, you can also use the word imaging, and you will get a clear understanding of it. He's saying that our imagination, our human imagination, is one with God, one with source energy. So it is the God of our reality. It is the cause. It is what gives life to, gives birth to physical reality, whether we know it or not, whether we're aware of it or not. So that's why understanding these principles and pondering them and really embodying them is how we open up to expand our awareness. And everything comes from who we believe we are, right? Remember that quote from Loki? It's all about the who, and the who is you. Our human imagination. And let's talk about the difference between imagination, like we're taught as a kid, oh, you're just imagining that. That's not real. That's fake. That's fantasy. And what Neville means by imagination. Well, we just said it, right? He believes imagination is first cause, is God, right? We're imagining with, we're co-creating with that God. So when we imagine and think about something, think about a desire, and don't believe it, we doubt it, that is fantasy, right? That is a pipe dream. Because we're thinking about something we want, thinking about something we desire, we're not believing it to be true. We don't think we can have it, we're doubting it. So that's why it becomes out of reach, or it's a fantasy, or a pipe dream. But that same consciousness, that same energy, when we use our imagination and believe in our desire, regardless of any evidence, that becomes fulfillment, our wish fulfilled, living from the end of wish fulfilled. That's what Neville means. Using your human imagination, that is one with source energy, with God, to create. And why is that the secret sauce? Because everything is one. Everything is about unity. Separation is the illusion. Separation is the voice of the ego. It's the voice of fear, separating us from that supreme power, as Neville calls it, right? So when we're thinking or imagining, we're always doing it with that supreme power. And that supreme power is unconditional and gives us the exact replica of what we give ourselves. It gives us the essence of what we believe to be true of ourselves. So imagination is the cause of our reality. And to become aware of what we're imagining, now we're waking up. An awakened imagination is being a conscious creator, meaning I get to choose what I put my focus and attention on. And it's not about pushing against anything or resisting anything, because when we do that, now we're saying something isn't valid. And everything is valid. Everything has a right to exist. There is no assertion. There's only inclusion in the universe, like Abraham Hicks likes to say. That just means that what we put our light on, what we imagine to be true for ourselves, is what we have that inner conviction. That's our belief. We believe it. We believe it in, right? So when we pray believing, right? Ask and it is given. The prayer, or when we do the processes, whether it's meditation or any kind of process, or affirmations or intentions, it doesn't matter what it is. Understand it. The purpose of any of those processes or prayer is not to make anything happen. It's to lift us. It is to rise in consciousness above the physical appearances of things, right? It's about building that inner conviction that I am one with source energy. I am one with God, or that my human imagination and the supreme power imagination is one, and is unconditional. It doesn't judge me. It gives me the free will to choose. And it thinks, that universal energy thinks, that what I'm believing to be true for me is what I want more of. I mean, that's powerful, isn't it? Powerful to know that. And remember, a belief is just a thought we kept thinking. Nothing. Neville says no facts are final. Circumstances never matter. And why? Because they're not the cause. That's what he's saying, that what is already physically manifested, or what was, isn't the cause of anything. That's why he says no facts are final and circumstances don't matter. So when we believe they do matter, we're creating more of it. We're creating more of the same, because we're keeping our imagination, our light, shining on it, right? So understand that when we focus our attention on something, it's where we're living, right? It's what we're magnifying. That's what becomes a physical manifested reality. So when you're doing any process, make sure it's to magnify the God within you, the power within, not to make anything happen. Because when you think you have to make something happen, or, kind of like rearrange the circumstances, try to change people, try to change the events, now you're coming from that state of consciousness of lack, that it's not mine. I'm not believing in it. I'm not identifying with it and as it. I'm not remembering my power is one with the supreme power, and it will give me that replica of what I'm imagining for myself. I'm going to give you a little example today of how to rise. A little, not even how, just give you an example for your own, for your own value. So I was driving to a town about 2 hours away from me for this event, and it was like kind of like on the highway. There's like fields, nothing around. I was going to the mountains near where I live. And I'm just kind of, doing my thing. And I had a thought of my dog, Ezzy, who passed away a month ago. And I started feeling that, just like, I miss my dog, and I started getting really upset and crying, and, tears were coming down. And at that moment, for whatever reason, I turned to my right. And just at that moment, there was maybe 50 white birds on the ground that took flight. And I was like, I immediately was like, oh my gosh. What I took from that was, what I am imagining was that grief, that feeling, that those tears, that thinking of her was actually her saying that she's here with me. And that feeling of grief was that release. And those birds that I'll never forget, they were all white. I'm like, look, I don't even know what kind of birds in Pennsylvania. They were all white, and there was a ton of them. They just took flight. That was reminding me, she was telling me, rise in consciousness, feel the grief, feel you're missing the physical body, but I'm still here with you. And that's what the power of our imagination can do. We have the power to extract value from every experience, even the negative, so-called negative, even the unwanted, because we have to have trust and faith that it's for us. Otherwise, that's coming from a state of consciousness, a state of being, imagining our worth. Otherwise, what's the alternative? We're imagining from that state of lack. And then we're imagining with that one power, and it's going to give us physical manifestations, physical examples of how we devalue ourselves. So there's a value in everything, is what the message I was trying to get out there with that story. So understand that that belief is an inner conviction, and that can be cultivated. I mean, honestly, we're already that conviction. We just forget it. We get bogged down by the appearances thing. That's why we have to rise in consciousness and think beyond them, think around them, above them. And that's how we imagine our best case scenario. That's how we get more of what we prefer. This is what Bashar says about how the universal forces work. What you are being given is a demonstration that the universe is absolutely willing to unconditionally support you in anything that you say is true of yourself. Every manifestation is a demonstration of what you believe to be true about yourself. The universe has no will of its own. It cannot exert its will into your life. This is how we are the creators of our own reality. Because what we put our light on, our focus and our attention, what we imagine to be true, is what that power, that universal power, thinks we want more of. So it's so important to challenge any unwanted thought, any unwanted condition. Why challenge it? It's not about fighting it. It's about calling it out, being aware. Who am I being to believe this about myself? And that's the process. You don't fight your fear. You don't fight the negative. You extract value from everything. It's all valid. It all has a right to exist. But I have the free will to choose. That's all Neville is saying, that imagination is first cause. And when you believe, when you really are inwardly convinced that you are the creator, now you can use it towards your good, right? So an awakened imagination works with a purpose, Neville Goddard, meaning when you're the conscious creator, instead of thinking you're a victim to circumstances, now you create heaven on earth instead of hell, literally, right? And he says that when we are not awakened, when we're not aware that we are one with the great creator, so we are a creator too, meaning we're co-creating everything with the universe. Like Bashar said, it is the universal forces are just unconditional. They're willing to give you what you give yourself. And what does giving yourself mean? It's what you believe to be true about yourself. So expand your awareness, expand what you think is possible. Question the doubt, question the fear, call it out, and choose again, right? You get to decide what you want to believe. That is the power of your human imagination. And remind yourself it's one with the infinite intelligence, one with God, one with the divine intelligence. And it's always willing, always saying yes to you. What you say yes about yourself, what you say is true and claim and believe to be true, will become true for you. That's how we create our own reality. So, and the good news is, We get a do-over every moment. We can choose again. So dwell not on anything unwanted. Don't dwell on it at all, because you're just giving your attention, giving it, feeding it, right? Feeding it your light, making it alive with your imagination, right? So fulfillment, wish fulfilled is all about understanding that when you have a desire, you couldn't even have that desire if it wasn't already valid for you, if it wasn't already available for you. So don't question how it's going to come or when it's going to come. Just believe it in by focusing on the end. Forget the middle, forget the how and the when and what do I have to do this? No. Go from, I have a desire, and it's going to be fulfilled. It's already fulfilled now. So I'm going to give it to myself before I see any external evidence. Circumstances don't matter, and that's why they don't matter, because it's your imagination, what you believe to be true for yourself, that is creating, that is perceiving what is available for you. So question those fears. Who must I be believing? What do I need to be believing about myself to believe this fear? And that's how you call it out and not fight it. And then you realize when you question the fear, it's never true. They're never, ever true. They're never valid. The only thing that is true is love. And if you're thinking anything unlike love, it's because it's a cry for help, like A Course in Miracles says. So, Neville Goddard, imagination is one with the supreme power. It is the God of your reality. It is your power to create whatever you desire. That's why you can be, do, and have anything, because you have the power to focus on what you want to focus on. So that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. And until next time, have a wonderful day.